Psychic gallery readings is where people in a room get read all at the same time.
So psychic medium Jody Harvilla is here to tell us the misconceptions and truths of gallery
We're in the room.
We're in the room. We're in the energy.
So good morning. And just before we went on, you said, so I'm not going to do a live reading, but you wanted to talk about what you said. I didn't.
Yeah, kind of like when I walk up and people are like, oh, what do you do for a living? I'm like, oh, I'm a psychic medium. Oh, who's around me? Who's around me? You know, it's really interesting because I used to do that too, because it's a normal reaction, like, oh, who's with me? And I thought it would be kind of fun for the audience to hear a little bit more about how readings actually work. And when we do galleries and we have the room, because oftentimes mediums, we need just a little preparation to connect with people that have crossed over because they're at a different vibration. And so we need to either, like, a lot of us meditate before we go and do readings, or we listen to music, or we just do a little kind of a system to prepare, because it's a really, it's not like the phone call. A lot of people think we're like, oh, hey, okay, yeah, can you tell Chris this, this, and this? Like, it's really subtle energies. It's like feelings and hearing things, and sometimes we see things in our heads. And there's a little bit of energy that we have to go through to get the messages to come out. And I don't know that a lot of people know that, because when you see all the TV shows, people are like, oh, I'm like, yeah, they probably filmed for a couple hours to get all those cuts. So I thought it might be kind of an interesting thing to explain a little bit more how the process actually works, and when you go to a group reading, why some people get read and some people don't, because it's kind of an interesting, like, why didn't I get a reading? And oftentimes spirits use what's in our heads as the mediums. Like, they can only use the information that's in our brains, and so if they have nothing in common with us, it's a little bit harder for them to connect with us, because we need to use our signs, our symbols, our feelings, the way we've lived our life to get the message to the people that we're reading. And so that's why some people get readings, some people don't. Some mediums really connect well with your relatives, and some mediums just kind of don't. And I don't know that a lot of people teach about that out in the world, so I thought it might be kind of a fun subject.
So you've got a group of, let's say, 15 people, okay, and you start to pick up these messages. How do you know it's for her and not him? And
well, for me, the way it works for me, and all mediums work differently. So if you had this interview with some other mediums, it might come out a little bit different. But for me, it's almost like I'm guided to your heart. It's almost like my heart goes and connects with your heart, and it's like, oh, I actually am coming to you now. And then I'll be feeling some energy coming like from behind me, and that's for someone over on this side of the room. Or I see something from above their head that kind of gives me a little signal. For some people, certain people will get lights around them, like they'll brighten up. Or the spirit will come and stand like right behind them, you know, and then you know, oh, I'm coming to you next, like your grandmother's here, or whoever is here with you. And so for me, it's kind of a feeling. I'm a feeler, and so not all mediums are led by feelings. Some of them get like the visuals, and they get like, they actually see the spirit in form. I don't see that as much, but I get the feelings, and I get a lot of signs and symbols. So I'm just led to it. I'm just led to the next person.
In a group too, I'm sure that it can be overwhelming for you to have
Sometimes.
all of those feelings coming at you.
Yeah,
at once.
when I first started, it was like, oh my God, this is so much. How do you decipher all of it? Because it's like you have to keep everyone kind of at bay. But I've taken a lot of training. That's the other thing is, you know, you need a lot of practice. You need a lot of training, because if you don't, you get overwhelmed. And then a lot of mediums stop when they start to get so overwhelmed instead of kind of pushing through and getting some education around it. And for me, it's like, back up. Like you all have to back up so I can just have a little space, and energy will always move back when you ask it to. It's like, I'm in charge of this space right here, so you need to back up a little bit. Okay, now it's your turn. Okay, now it's your turn. So you got to coach spirit. You're co-creating with spirit in that moment. And so you have to have a little bit of boundaries, and a lot of new people that are coming into their intuition or coming into their mediumship, they don't understand that you can actually set some boundaries. And that was something I didn't know either, but boy, does it make a difference in my energy, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
All right, more of this coming up after this short break.